Well, I am on several boards, and with CED, I've been on the board for a handful of years. But, importantly, why I chose to be on is it is such a critical time for the business community to engage proactively in public policy. I saw that during my time with the administration. What I saw there from the public sector perspective is the public sector sometimes didn't understand business well enough. And when I returned to the private sector, I thought the private sector wasn't engaging in ways that were most productive. Every business today is embedded in society, and its success is dependent on the success of the society in which it is embedded. And to me, that goes to the heart of CED. We are recognizing as business leaders that we are dependent and synergistic with a better society. And we have to lead our organizations not only for short-term performance, but for long-term sustainability, and that includes a societal impact. Our involvement in corporate governance work is critical. I think it's one thing we've seen in the economic crisis, it's one thing we saw in Enron, it's one thing that is a perpetual work in progress. Corporate governance has to get better around the world, and there's sort of no uniform approach to good corporate governance, no uniform sort of view of what is good corporate governance, but by every failure we have in our economy, whether it's domestically or globally, we learn a lot. And I think now with this economic crisis, which is always a terrible thing to waste, a good deep dive into corporate governance, again, is critically important. Well, first and foremost, it's business leaders on a bipartisan basis, nonpartisan basis, getting together, looking at issues for the sake of better outcomes for all. I think that is a critical aspect of CED, and then what CED brings to the public debate about any issue. It is that business leaders coming together with a public interest, not a self-interest, looking at the overall health of society. I think our policymakers need that kind of engagement. They need to have some honest brokers in this game who are willing to engage, who are willing to listen, and who are willing to look at what is achievable to provide a better outcome for all. Well, I think campaign finance reform was a great example of how CED got involved in public policy. I think in the current healthcare reform debate, CED is engaging in a very productive way. I think it is trying to provide a research, fact-based approach to the positions that CED holds, but understanding how to engage in a way where you can actually understand the politics of a situation as well to move a debate in a productive manner. And that's, I think, business is always oriented to getting outcomes. And so just engaging to debate is not in and of itself a great thing. If you're not engaging to actually produce an outcome that will generate better results for all, then it's not all that important to do. I think it is one of the reasons why businesses should support CED is because you can engage in discussions and debate and research to help inform your own views also with a lot of leaders that see issues from a variety of perspectives and from a broad business perspective. There's also people involved in CED that are just great statespeople, whether it's men or women who have been in the public sector, been in the private sector. They understand both dimensions and they understand how to move policy forward, but good policy, what is needed. And they're not constrained by constituents. They are constrained by a desire for a better outcome in the public interest. And that is why I'm attracted to CED, because I believe we need great leaders today who understand how to engage with a variety of stakeholders. And that doesn't mean engage in a way where you are a fire hose spewing your own views. It means engage in a way where you're an inclusive leader. You have views, you're inviting and listening to others' views, you're continually morphing your own views based on that surround sound of feedback. That's what CED is all about. Well, this is something I am passionate about, and I think this economic crisis really has shown a spotlight on this issue. Look, we are all for better outcomes for all. That's what every individual on this earth wants, is better outcomes for all. The research is abundantly clear that when you have a diverse group of individuals focused on a complex problem, diverse meaning gender diverse, ethnically diverse, age diverse, functionally diverse, if you have a diverse group of people focused on solving a complex problem, that diverse group will outperform a homogeneous group of better qualified people every time. There is value in diversity to get better decisions made. Second piece of research, this one gender focused, more women on boards. Critical mass of women on board, not one token woman, but a critical mass of women on boards, those organizations will financially outperform less diverse organizations board-wise. More women in senior management, those organizations will outperform on a variety of operational factors, organizations that don't have sufficient numbers of women in senior leadership. Three key pieces, I could go on, but the research is abundantly clear. We actually don't need more research. Diversity matters. Diversity produces better results. And yet, as a leadership, as corporate leadership, look at our numbers. We are making glacial progress on the movement of women in senior ranks, whether it's on boards or in senior management. Just overall diversity, we're moving at a glacial pace. The research is so abundantly clear for the business case to accelerate qualified, diverse folks into positions of leadership, and yet we aren't getting there. So I think it's a critical piece of work, and a spotlight needs to be shown on it coming out of this economic crisis, where it's very clear we didn't have enough diversity around decision-making tables, whether it was in our regulatory community or in the private sector, or on any dimension. We could do better, and now is the time that we need to focus on doing better. It's not the right thing to do, it's the bright thing to do, and we just need to get on with it.